Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator and I'm pleased to show you how to make this card. And the technique today, I'm calling it Chickadoodle Birds. And these are basically just circles, fold it in half and make them into birds. So here's our card that we'll be making today. And here is the club sample. So let's get started. You will need either punches or dies, circle dies. I'm using our 2 3/8 inch punch and 2-inch punch, and I have already punched them out onto this tartan plaid designer paper. It has a little bit of a shimmer, so it's kind of cool. And here's all our pieces in your kit, so they're already cut out. There. And what works best for this technique is using a two-sided thing that would be, one has a darker side on the inside with a design on the front. That way you'll get a full thing. And ironically, I made this card, it was on the 8th for club, and that was the day of the eclipse. So we could also call this an eclipse card, which is sort of funny. So to do this, you will take your piece and decide which side you want on the inside or the outside. If you do it wrong, you can always flip it around. So I'm folding it not in half, but you are folding it so that there's a smaller part here and then the darker part goes here. And you do that with the other one as well. Super simple. But again, it reminded me, as we're doing this, is like, as we were making these, the eclipse was going across, so it was sort of funny. It's like, oh yeah, eclipse cards. So, dumb story with that. Okay, now we will take a little bit of glue and just put it on the inside toward the top, just a little bit. You don't want it to ooze out. To keep that down, otherwise it'll pop up. Especially with this, you can try to tape it, but the tape doesn't really stick real well for the on this shiny. This is shiny. The whole thing is shiny, glossy. I guess the glossy paper. Okay, then I'm using the B punch, and see, it doesn't stick. Okay, we'll just put this on there. So I'm using the bee punch, and you can either cut it and make little pointy beaks, or you can use the butt of the bee, the little bee stinger part, to do that. And then the heart is the wing, and the small heart is the tail. So to do the beak, I put it in from the top and then punch. It's just a real tiny little piece. So this is what I end up with. It looks like that. So now you will have to trim it though. Probably trim it maybe about a 1/2 inch or so. And then just kind of pointy it out. That way you get the same consistent size. And so you have that. I mean, you could also just cut a triangle. But since we have the punch and we're using it for the rest of the birds, I thought we would do that. I only need 2 of them. Alrighty then. So I cut out another one. This one's a bigger piece, but that's what I have. Alright, I'm going to go this way. Okay. And again, you can use the same punch for both birds. And then, for some reason, this one looks smaller, but I think it's just because I cut the width different. Okay. Now we need to, I'm trying to think what order I want to do this. Let's see the sample here. So now we have to decide which way our birds are going to go to know where the beaks go. So I'm going to be putting it on like this. So the beak has to go on this side and this side. So on the back of the, on the back of whatever side you're putting your beak, you put a little dot of glue. This is the big one. And then you just put it, it can go straight or it can be on an angle, it doesn't matter. get any excess off of there, like so. And this one has a little bit sticking up, so I'm just going to trim that down a little bit from the back. There we go. And just set that there, and then the same thing with the other side. These are facing each other, so I want to make sure that they are on the right side of it. So you have, that's that part. The next step will be to take our hearts, and you can cut them or you can just fold them over. I think it's easier to cut, plus you get more out of it if you're making a bunch. So I'm just cutting the larger heart, and this will be their wings. And you want it to go so that it's this direction. Again, you need to use glue on the shiny paper. You don't if you're not using shiny. So that just goes right on there. And then I'll, oops. And this one is going in this direction, so wait, this direction, so I have to make sure I have it in the right direction. You don't want to ooze out because it'll be sticky then. Okay, and now we're waiting to put our little tail feathers on, just because I'll show you. Alright, so there's our little birds. Now we will stamp, and I'm using the Playful Playing in the Rain, and I'm using the little flowers and clouds. Okay, I'm just using black memento, and we're not going to be coloring these because it got a little busy that way. So I'm just stamping our flowers across the bottom. I did 4 of them. You could do as many as you want or not at all. And then the clouds I put on like so, and that's really all the stamping there is. Next we will put our birds on, and let's see here, we will pop those up. I tend to use a lot of dimensionals. It's not necessary, but I don't like pieces flopping down, so I'm using 4. Conservative for me. Okay. And then I'm also going to put a dimensional on each of the little baby hearts. That's why we didn't put them on yet. Okay, so now we'll take off the liner. And we will put him on. So you want to make sure that there's going to be enough room for his tail. But we're putting him sort of in the clouds, like so. We need room for his tail. And then this guy, same thing. Take off the backs. Okay. And he's going to be down here. Kind of reminds me of Mama and Baby. Like so. And now we will put their little tails on, which is again just a little heart. And that goes right up here. And this one goes down here. And then we just attach this. Oh no, wait, before we attach it, oops, see that one tends to go too far. Now we'll attach it to our card. However, he needs some eyes. So what worked really cool, because we no longer sell googly eyes, I wanted to use what we have. So I took, these are cork rounds. They're retiring, but they work so perfectly for this. So for the little bird, I used the small round, and the big bird I used the larger round. And I forgot to draw on the feet too. So this is our black marker. It's nice because the skinny end now has a bullet point instead of that white plastic piece that they always dry out. So I've just added a little dot in the center of the cork rounds, and I put those, one on the big guy and the little one on the little guy, and it just makes them get a little personality here. So you don't need to necessarily have the googly eyes, but this worked out well. Okay, now the last part is to, well, second to last part, is to draw in their legs. So I used again the skinny end, and I just went up to the flowers and kind of made it, I went in between the flowers. This one I'll just go straight, but not over the flowers, like so. And that's the same thing with the little guy. And then you have your goofy chickadoodles. The doodle part comes from the drawing. And then I did add a sentiment. I did a hello. And I had got this from the Layering Leaves stamp set. This has got such a nice font for everything, and here's the hello. I embossed it on black with white embossing powder and cut it out. So that's it for this card. Thanks for watching and have a great day.